Hello Ice and Fire Nerds, this is Chris and welcome back to another Game of Thrones Foreshadowing series video, and today we're going to wrap up Season 1, Episode 8, The Pointy End.
Dracarys.
Alright, so let's jump right in. In our next scene we have Great John, Umber, and Robb.
Root you out of your keep and hang you for an oathbreaker.
Oathbreaker, is it? I'll not sit here and swallow insults from a boy so green he pisses grass.
Alright, so Great John's kind of disrespecting Robb here a little bit, and he kind of rebels a little bit, although Grey Wind takes care of that real quick. And he continues to do so a bit, although he does stay beside Robb as a loyal Stark bannerman. But later on, ironically, in Season 6, we see this.
Your father was a cunt, and that's why you killed him. I might have done the same to my father if he hadn't have done me the favour of dying on his own.
So Great John held true to his word and stayed at the side of Robb Stark, and apparently he died off screen, but ironically his son Small John actually rebelled and joined the damn Boltons. And then finally ended up getting stabbed in the fucking face by Tormund. And during our next scene we see Robb going to say goodbye to Bran as he leaves during the night.
Always be a Stark on Winterfell. Until I return, that will be you.
They've all gone away. So I'll be back soon. Robb will free Father. And I'll come back with Mother. No, they won't.
Now during this scene we hear the famous words again, there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. So Rickon here is a bit pessimistic, and ultimately Rickon was right because later on we see this.
The Lannisters send their regards.
So he straight up tells Bran that Robb would not return, and damn sure he was right. And during our next scene we see Bran praying at the gods in front of the old gods, and of course Osha comes out and we hear this conversation.
What did you mean about hearing the gods?
You ask them. They're answering you. Open your ears.
Only the wind.
So Osha gives quite a bit of backstory here about the old days of the Children of the Forest and how people came down and cut all the weirwood trees down. And she tells Bran basically how the wildlings still hold the old gods, just like the Northerners, just like the Starks. So they're basically the same people on two different sides of a big ass ice wall. So this is a big reference to history and the old gods, Children of the Forest, etc. And of course later on we see this.
I've been watching you. All of you. All of your lives. With 1,000 eyes and one.
So Bran later on actually meets what I believe is the old god, and that is Bloodraven. I believe the old gods are green seers and not actually gods. Of course, we'll probably never get a definitive answer on that, but the point being here that Osha was right. They were listening and they were watching, because Bloodraven actually confirms this, that he's watched Bran his whole entire life. And during our next scene, we see this at the Night's Watch.
They were touched by White Walkers. That's why they came back. That's why their eyes turned blue. Only fire will stop them.
So they end up burning the Night's Watch members who became whites after they turned after going through the wall. And of course Sam gives us a little history, and I think this scene simply serves as a kind of a reminder to the audience that there is something bigger going on here, because all we're focusing on right now is all the politics in King's Landing, Ned being betrayed by Littlefinger, Joffrey, the Lannisters, all that good stuff. But of course in the very first episode of the show, in the very first scene, we saw what this is really about. So this was kind of a general reminder, along with the Bran situation with Osha and the Godswood, that we have something bigger and deafer going on here. Did you catch that LL Cool J reference? Anyway, it serves as a reminder that there's something bigger going on here, and not just the politics in King's Landing. And of course later on, ultimately the Night's Watch finds out the truth at the Fist of the First Men.
To blast these wildlings. You're not fighting them alone. Come on. Three blasts. Run!
And in our next scene we have Catelyn talking to her son Robb.
Do you know what happened to the Targaryen children when the Mad King fell?
They were butchered in the sleep.
On the orders of Tywin Lannister. And the years have not made him kinder.
So Catelyn mentions here a little bit of history as well, and that is of the Targaryen children being killed under Tywin Lannister's orders. And later on we get confirmation of this in a way when we see this.
Killed her children! dying. No, you can't die yet. You haven't confessed. Elia Martel, who gave you the order? Who gave you the order?
And of course, this continues to build up as well when Catelyn says this.
If you lose, your father dies. Your sisters die. We die.
And of course, just like Rickon said earlier on that Robb wouldn't come back, she was absolutely right, because later on we see this.
The Lannisters send their regards.
And in our next scene, Tyrion introduces Tywin to Bronn and the Mountain Clans.
This is Shugger, son of Dolph, chieftain of the Stone Crows. And here we have Bronn, son of...
You wouldn't know him.
Now, Bronn specifically says here, you wouldn't know him, as in you wouldn't know my father. And of course, this kind of fans the flames of some of the theories out there that Bronn could be an actual Reign of Castamere. Now, if you're not familiar with that, the Reigns of Castamere song was written after an event where Tywin Lannister wiped out House Reign of Castamere after they tried to rebel against House Lannister, and that's what the song's all about. So there is some speculation here that Bronn, being this random sellsword in our story, could actually be a remaining member of House Reign. And in our next scene, as they capture a traitor, we hear Robb say this.
Your father would understand
My father understands mercy when there is room for it. And he understands honor. And courage.
Now, this is a direct parallel to the conversation we saw previously between Ned and Varys when Ned said this.
What madness led you to tell the Queen you had learned the truth about Joffrey's birth?
The madness of mercy.
So essentially they're saying that mercy here gets people killed, and of course ultimately it does get Ned killed, it gets Robb killed, and basically House Stark almost wiped out, so doing the right thing is not always a good idea. And finally, during the last scene of this episode, we see Sir Barristan Selmy dismissed from the Kingsguard.
Kingsguard is a sworn brotherhood. Our vows are taken for life. Only death relieves us of our sacred trust.
I am a knight. I shall die a knight.
Even now I could cut through the five of you like carving a cake. Here, boy. Melt it down and add it to the others.
So specifically, Sir Barristan Selmy says, I will die a knight, and later on, of course, he goes to serve Dany, and we end up seeing this. So he ends up going to serve Dany to try to restore some of his honor he felt like he's lost, because of course Robert was killed when he was there, and of course Aerys Targaryen was killed, which he served on his Kingsguard as well, so he's lost 2 kings while being a member of the Kingsguard. So he tries to get back a little bit of honor by going back to Dany. So unfortunately in the show they had to whack him, but he is still alive in the books. But ultimately he did what he said he was going to do, and he ended up dying a knight. Alright guys, so that'll do it for now. That wraps up Season 1, Episode 8, The Pointy End. And this was basically all about Arya and the theme about what she's going to become and her losing her identity. And of course the tie-in as well with Robb and Ned being honorable, and it gets them all killed. Anyway guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. As usual, thank you for all the support, especially to you guys on Patreon. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon Smokescreen producers, Griffin, Lala Gig, Volguy 10, Kissa Powell, Marc Joseph, aka the Snow in Winterfell, Marylin Bentley, JoAnna, Sean Hayes, Kieran D20, Linda Stanfield, and Anonymous. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support. And thank you to everybody out there in YouTube land. Be sure to subscribe to get everything, and be sure to click that notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. Thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you next time.